Peace, 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 peace. This is Adia. How are you? I feel like I haven't made a video sitting like this in some time. I guess since I expressed my gratitude for the manifestation of this retreat, but I want to share about just experiencing Bali and experiencing Soulshine. So the title of this is Soul Shining in Bali. Um, It was marvelous. It was marvelous. So if anyone is looking for information on Soulshine, I hope this video gives you, information about the resort, but also just being in Bali. So again, the reason I was in Bali was I'd organized a retreat for women called F Mama Burnout. And so looking for somewhere where it was restorative and beautiful and energizing and just a feast for all of the senses. And that's exactly what Bali was. The travel to Bali, whew, Lord. I traveled to Madagascar last year or the year before. And that trip from Washington, D.C. is almost a 20-hour trip if it's straight. And I still had like maybe a 2-hour layover or something in Ethiopia. But the one to Bali, whew, the trip straight is about 23 hours. The trip I took out of IAD, out of Washington, D.C., was 9 hours first to Qatar. And so we stopped in Doha. And then we had a 10-hour, was it a 10-hour layover? I think it was a 10-hour layover. And then we had another 16 hours to DPS, to Bali. Whew. So the travel in itself was already over a whole day, just getting there. So by the time I had gotten there, I was so worn out. And I was like, gracious, I feel like I've already done the whole trip, and we still have a full week. But getting to Soulshine, not even by the time we got to Soulshine, the airport at DPS is beautiful. The sculpture, like when you walk out of the airport, there are statues. There's a big sculpture that says Bali, and it's happy. so so after the long flight, and I do want to go back and say this, being in the airport at Doha was still a treat. They have a big, beautiful garden in the airport, inside the airport, a full-on mall, which I know my children would appreciate, just to see it. And what I also appreciate about international flights is that the international airlines are far more likely to give you a hotel room if your layover is very long or if you've been delayed, more than domestic American flights. So while I was in Doha for that 10-hour layover, I went to a hotel. They sent a lot of us to a hotel. And if our layover had been any longer than mine was, some of us were given vouchers for food. We were transported from the airport to various hotels that had partnerships with Qatar Airlines, giving us a chance to bathe and clean up, eat some food, use the bathroom, turn around, and then go back to the airport not feeling, completely worn out. So that was a blessing. And even with that, I'm very grateful for that because it made the next 16 hours of that flight more bearable. And when we got to Bali, because there was another sister that we were on the same flight. When we got there, the brother, what was it, two of us? Maybe, no, I think two of us arrived that day. Is that the brother from Bali who picked us up was kind and warm and welcoming as he was getting us into the car. So that was a blessing. I fell asleep on the ride. I couldn't hold it. I tried to stay up and pay attention. I could not. But when we got to Soulshine Resort, Soulshine calls their team the guest happiness team that works for, making sure the guests are pleased and happy. And when you come into a space called the living room. And it's really a beautiful space. It's not a front desk. It's got a gift shop that actually looks like a shop, like your friend set up a really cute little boutique. Excuse me. So it's got that. It has a little sink because clearly they're in there for a lot of the day. So there's space for them to wash their coffee mugs and those kind of things. There's a couch that is seated down in a recessed part of the room. And when we came in, they gave us dates and fresh pressed juice. And then the thing I really appreciated, one of the things I really appreciated in Bali was the culture of Bali and how proud and joyful the people are of their culture. So when we got there, marigolds, which are central to so many spiritual and cultural expressions in Bali, there was a round bowl of marigolds, and we were given I'm not going to say it right, a flower. I have one pressed into my journal, but given these smaller flowers, if I have the name, I'll post it up in the video. That smelled so sweet. But they were giving us those flowers to place down in this pool of marigolds to set our intentions for the week, which was wonderful. It was a wonderful way to center after traveling and traveling and traveling and getting this chance to be still. And then when we got there and they checked us into our rooms, the space that we had, we took up one side of the garden rooms. So all of the women who were there for the retreat, we were all in one space, and they had musicians. The rooms are music themed, but there are musicians on every wall. Or I think someone had Frida Kahlo, so artist on every wall. Frida Kahlo, David Bowie, Aretha Franklin. Was there a Nina Simone? Jimi Hendrix, just different artists on all of the walls, which was amazing. And I really appreciated my room. There was a speaker in my room that I could connect to my phone via Bluetooth, and it kicked. So it made my mornings really wonderful, made my winding down in the evening really amazing. The following morning we did our welcome yoga and breakfast. And so if you saw my unbelievable, the gift bags that were available to everyone, had really beautiful things that were sourced in Bali and purchased from the gift shop there that went into everybody's gift bags. The cup that said "You are loved" in it, the magnesium spray, just so many good things that were in there. And they made it available for me as the organizer to have the flower mandala on the floor for our first day, which was wonderful. And it stayed for about 2 days. It smelled good. It looked beautiful. There was incense in the ready at the yoga shalas, so I could go in the morning and do my walkthrough like I usually do and pour libation and, bless the ancestors and ask for guidance and bless the space. And I didn't have to drag a whole bunch of supplies up there to do that. So there was incense there and a shrine there. And so the opportunity to start the mornings in that way was absolutely marvelous. The food was so good. There were a couple of times that I'm sure I overdid it, but I felt like, well, it's healthy. So it's healthy. So I'm okay. I'm vegan, and the food that was offered, they asked all of our dietary needs before we got there. But sometimes in places where they're feeding vegans, it almost feels like some people feel like bland is okay. But everything I ate was so full of flavor and was so fresh and so delicious that I felt good every single day. A couple times I had to make myself slow down and not eat so much. We had our first day, we had the chance to just get still and chill. And we had what I appreciated was the space that we had. There were 2 lovely pools on the property. One that had a water slide and like a little swing that you could swing in the water, right over the water. And then there was another one that had like this drop off that you could jump off of the drop off and be in the water. And so the one with the drop off was a lot quieter because everybody didn't hang out there. So there were so many things for us to take advantage of on the property that did not require us to leave. They had a full schedule of things, some that were at cost and some that were free. They made arrangements if there were things that we wanted to do off the property that were separate from the retreat. The women that I that joined me on the retreat, one took advantage of a sunrise hike. So two sisters took advantage of a swing where they, with each other in the big flowing dresses. Throughout the week, we had the opportunity to participate in a HIIT class, go visit Bhumi Sahat. And I think I may have said all these things in the Unbelievable one, but just the opportunity to see the connection between Bhumi Sahat and Soulshine, how the people truly appreciated that connection, how babies have been born at Bhumi Sahat. People have, it's not a business partnership. There are genuine connections, which you can feel like they reverberate back. There was a market on the retreat property, I think on Wednesday, that we all had the opportunity to go to, and local artisans came through, shared their wares, gave us a chance to support people there on the property, and we were able to charge to our rooms if we did not have the IDR, if we did not have the local money on hand. All the things that we got to do, we had a cooking class, which was great, just to walk the property, to be in the sun, to be able to just feel the connection to the earth and see the place where some of our food was grown, to be able to taste fresh food, to be able to come back and cook alongside each other, having fun, listening to the chef, enjoying the product of our work. It was in abundance. I hope somebody ate the rest of it in abundance. It was a really good space. And there were some other things that I really appreciated too. In the tradition I practice, there are things that we may do for protection, that we may prepare for our house, for our vehicles, for our person, offerings that we make to shrines, ancestors, all of those things. And so to be at Soulshine, there was a morning that I watched a woman come out to make an offering. She was lighting incense and making an offering. And I was told later that the statue that was there was the goddess of fertility, and she's watching over the rice fields. But later, when we got ready to leave, some of the same type of offerings that were left for various shrines around the property and various spaces were on the cars, which made me smile because there are things that we put in our cars for protection. So even having that connection, learning, being able to move through town on our bike tour, and just the peace of moving through Bali, being able to experience the marigold fields, being able to be at Mount Batur, being able to stop at temples, and for the guides to share with us a compound, the importance of why the temples on the compound are set up the way they are. It was so much. It was so much. It was so restorative. There was, after our bike tour, there was a place where we just sat down to eat, and where we were looking out over rice paddies. And I felt completely at ease, completely peace-filled. It was marvelous. And so for all of that to be undergirded by being able to stay somewhere like Soulshine, being able to have connections to so many other places that were just good in so many ways, good for the mind, body, and soul, was amazing. The fact that Soulshine isn't sterile. I've said to people before, and it's been shared, that I have no desire to travel somewhere else and be in the U.S. I don't want to go somewhere else and feel like I'm at an American hotel. That's not the point. So Soulshine is so integrated with the culture of Bali, with music, with just creativity, that it was truly a joy to be there. So, consider this my endorsement, not just for Soulshine, but for Bali in general. Like, I know I will be going back. It's it's a hard place not to return to. But I just wanted to share that. So in any case, I will see you again. This is Reverend Akomfo, Mwalimu, Yogi, Sister Mama Dula, all the things. Adia saying peace. And savor the joy. Savor it. Savor it. Savor it. All right. We'll see you next time.